Hey guys, it's Christabel here and welcome back to my channel. I am here today to do a different video for you guys, and it is basically what to look for when you're choosing a uni. So I wrote a few things down because I know that people will be choosing their universities that they want to apply to, whether it's UCAS for the UK or CAO forms, which is for Ireland. So I was thinking about when I was actually applying to university and what I wanted to look for in a uni, and actually what I didn't look for in a uni that I just happened to be lucky to find. But I think these are really essential things that you guys should look for if you're applying to university, because they can make the difference in your university experience and also your academic life and work life. So here is the video. Do not, I repeat, do not be looking for unis just because they're on top of the league tables. Please don't do that to yourself. League tables are fun, but they change so often that it's just not worth it. You need to be picking universities that will be best for you. If you want to look at the league tables, fine, do it if you want to. There's no issue on that. But I don't think it should be your deciding factor as to what university you should go to. So course content, that is a really big one. Courses vary in the way that they're taught, what you will actually get out of them. I actually have notes down here, so if I'm looking down, just bear with me. So like, you might like the name of your course. So say for example, you want to study medicine or biomedical sciences or an arts degree or social sciences degree. They may all have the same name, but what you actually get out of the course is very different. Like for medical school, so you have PBL, integrated, and traditional. So that's different learning styles that can accommodate different people. For me, for example, at Brighton and Sussex Medical School, it's an integrated approach. So it's not just having your lectures, but there's still clinical basis. It has a blend of the two. While there's some universities which focus on traditional, which is lectures most of the time before you get anywhere near the clinical, or PBL, which is more case-based learning, where you're kind of doing problem solving. That's what PBL is based on, problem-based learning. So you're working through it, getting a case and actually figuring out the specifics to how they arrive at conclusion. The content could be more geared towards coursework than exams, for example. So you might have modules in your course that are more like 100% coursework, or some that could be 100% exam. So looking into what particular areas you're stronger at. If you're stronger at exams, maybe you want to do more exam-based stuff. If you're stronger at coursework, maybe you want to do more coursework-based stuff. You have placements. So some universities offer placements, the opportunity to get a placement, which can help towards getting a job. Some universities are just based on academics, so you need to figure out which one suits you best and which one would work better for you. For example, some biomedical sciences courses do not have the emphasis on placement year because they may not be accredited, and that's something I need to actually explain about, because if you're doing something like a biomedical sciences course, if you want to be a biomedical scientist, you need accreditation. And some universities don't actually offer that. They offer the course, but they don't have a rigid learning system to be able to become a biomedical scientist. So, well, straight away, you'd have to do top-up courses. So I think that was something I didn't even know about myself. But having that accreditation, you're able to get your HPC or HCPC portfolio. I'll write it down somewhere. And that is very helpful. So knowing whether if your course is more research-led, more leaning towards the accreditation side, and it's more clinical-based led, is really important. Career progression. I think that's something that we don't always think about. We're always thinking just about the course. Like when people complete the course, what are they more likely to do? What is the percentage rate of people who go into this area of the workforce or that area of another? That can be really helpful in telling as to whether this course would be useful for you. Again, if there are any publication opportunities, publications can be really helpful on a CV, especially if you have an interest in becoming a researcher later down the line, or you want to do a PhD, for example. Having those nuanced interests can be really helpful to decide what area you're going to be more likely to enter. But also, I do have to let you guys know that, you know, that obviously it's not something that you always think about, because most people are like 18, 19, 20, maybe even older, trying to decide what they want to do, and it's not an easy thing to understand. But I do think it is something that you should at least consider. Next point, I think you should also consider support networks at your university. University is a very busy time. You're moving away from home. You might be living in a totally different country like I was. Understanding and actually finding out about the support networks that your university may have to help you. It's not only just the academic side, but the welfare side. What does the university provide? It's very useful and it's very helpful. It can be the difference between a good experience at university or a not so good experience at university. I'm using University of Brighton as an example because that's where I went to. They have a lot of welfare support. They have things like personal tutor networks, which are helpful for academic reasons. You have course leaders who are also there to help towards the course. So if you have any questions about the course, they're able to direct you or help you, basically make the journey a bit easier. Well, your course reps, I was a course rep at one point, and they become like the representative of your course to voice any concerns or any issues that the students as a whole may have. And it's really useful. It could be the difference between maybe an extension on a course project that everybody's going through, but they have other assignments to do, and there might be some timetabling conflicts. So being able to have those places where you can voice concerns to actually get certain things done, and I thought that was incredibly helpful. You have student ambassadors as well. Student ambassadors are really helpful because they have a really good role at being able to answer questions you may have about the university as a whole, getting information from a student perspective. Other helpful resources are student residential advisors, also known as SRAs. They are on all sites. They're there for student help, student welfare and support, especially to do with accommodation, maybe welfare to do with academics. They know how to signpost you to different areas, and there's students like you who understand what it's like to be away from home. Also, I thought that was really helpful. So student residential advisors is the accommodation team. If you have issues about getting accommodations after first year or even during first year, they're there to help. These type of support systems can make the journey so much easier in university, especially if you're going to be there for 3 to 6 years, depending on your course, or even longer. So having those welfare support systems, knowing about them, can be really helpful. The area, you're going to be there for so long. Like, are there transportation links? Are there extracurriculars that you can be involved in? Is the place busy? Is it a city type town? Is it a more rural type area? Those type of things can be really impactful on your university experience. Accommodation and expenses. Depending on the area that you're living in, if you're living in London, for example, accommodation expense can be quite high, or if you're not even that far from London, just on the outskirts of London or any of the counties around, it can be quite expensive to be living as a student. One thing that you should consider is not just because of the university, but remember you're going to have other expenses, whether it's your food, your travel expenses, whether it is leisure activities or home fees or rent, for example. These are certain things you should consider because you don't want to live outside of your means, or at least you don't want to be struggling with any of those aspects, and that's added stress that you just don't need. Student satisfaction is one thing to be looking. I know league tables are there obviously, and they talk about the academic potentials and stuff like that, but one thing I do not think people pay attention enough to is the student satisfaction rate. You know, there are students long before you who've went through the system, understand what it's like to actually be at the university, and not just from the information that you read online. And seeing the student satisfaction rates can be incredibly important. They can help you understand as to whether, this is how a variety of students have felt while being at university. For example, BSMS, one of the reasons why I even was, set on going there was because they have such a high student satisfaction rate. There's some way in the high 90s. Like, if students are really happy about that, it would be something that I would be paying attention to. So I do think you should pay attention to it a little bit as well. Open days where you can be able to ask students about their opinions. You've got the student ambassadors that I mentioned before. They give you a student perspective on the university life and how they are dealing with their course or the potential course that you may be interested in. Financial support. So the thing is, university can be quite expensive. Obviously you might have your student loans, your student grants, but you need to actually pay attention to see, maybe there might be financial support that could be useful for you to apply to. Some universities have specific student support for financial means that could be really useful and really helpful, or could add an extra relief, such as I know the University of Sussex and University of Brighton have specific funds for that. I'll actually link them down below so you can see some of them, but these are just examples of what you should be looking for, or at least ideas that could be helpful. And you never know what you'd actually be eligible for, so why not look? Okay, we've got two more. Academic help. University can be quite busy, it can be a challenging time, and sometimes coursework can be there and you're like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And it happens, and it is a normal process. It is normal to go through, but knowing that there are resources and places you can go to get the help that you need, literally the best thing. Why should I be in stress when there should be people who can help me with that? Like, come on. In any ways, academic support is so helpful because it ensures that no one is left behind, to make sure that there are available support when it's needed or when they actually want it, especially for both students that may have visible or invisible challenges or disabilities. And the last one, extracurricular activities. University is not just about work, it's not just about study, it's a lot more than that. Making friendships, making bonds, being able to develop and delve into interests that you may have. For me, like societies, like, is there anything you're interested in? Harry Potter, K-pop, music, arts, something that you've never tried before, badminton, you want to join the team, volleyball. Those type of extracurricular activities can be so helpful, and it can give that dissociation, that separate thing that you can have that is away from the academic life. Also, there are things I found really helpful. The international orientation program that the University of Brighton had, it was really helpful, and it helped me ease into the university life because, of course, being from Ireland, I was in a whole new different country. There were also other students who were from all different countries around the world, and it just helped us integrate into the environment better, know what places we could actually go to, learn a little bit more about the city. We were brought by student ambassadors to different areas of Brighton, being able to be shown like different food places we can go to, Aldi, like all the student life things you need. Food, especially food. Why not find things that are actually really helpful to you and make the journey so much more easier? So I hope I was able to give you a few pointers as to what you should be looking for when you're trying to choose a university. I know UCAS applications are in January, so you can probably come back to this video and see it then. I know some people will also be applying in Ireland, and I think that opens around November, around this time. somewhere around this time, and you can be able to use this as a guide to help you to find out what you'd like to pay attention to when you're looking at universities. I hope this was really helpful. I wish I had a video like this that kind of gave me more insight into what I should be looking for universities, not just judging by a league table that fluctuates every year. And I hope you have a blessed day, a blessed week, and all that. Don't forget to reach for the stars, and God bless you all. Okay, see you guys.